Good morning, good afternoon, good night, depending on what time you have stopped by for your stimulus update, or as I choose to call it, Coronapacalypse, or COVID Gate. How about Stimuless? Which is exactly what came to mind when I heard about the $600. So listen carefully because a lot has happened in the last 24 to 48 hours, and I am going to save the best for last. Okay? Now, I know what's going on in the world of American politics. Same old-ish, different day. The saddest part about all of this nonsense is the millions of people stuck in the middle of this Potomac two-step or your tit-for-tat dance, all this that's going on in Washington, D.C. Now, as you probably already know, Congress has finally passed the stimulus bill. I had renamed it on the screen there, Stimuless Bill. That's just my little sarcasm and my disdain for the entire political process that has been about delays and deflections and distractions and this and that. And what happened to the $1,200 per person? So let's get into it. This is what the bill includes. Each qualified individual will receive a $600 stimulus. Your qualified dependents are also receiving the same amount. Qualified dependents are those who have not yet reached the age of 17. So, for example, a family of 4 would be expecting $2,400. Here's how and when you would get your money. Notice I said would. If you filed your 2019 tax return, you should get your check as early as next week. And all stimulus checks are required, according to the bill, to be sent out no later than January 2021. So here's how the income breakdown rules go. Okay, I had to write all of this down because I want to make sure I cover the most important points. If you're a single individual, you are entitled to your full $600 benefit if you make less than $75,000 a year. If you make more than $75,000 a year, they will begin to deduct from that $600. If you make $87,000 or more as a single individual, you no longer qualify for the $600 stimulus. If you are married filing jointly and you make less than $150K, you can receive the full $600. More than $150K, you will be subject to deductions. And at $174K, you are no longer eligible for the $600 stimulus. Also, the stimulus is not taxable. If you did not get your last stimulus, you can claim it as a deduction when you file your taxes next year. If you had a child in 2020, you will not receive your stimulus until you file your 2020 taxes claiming your child. So that's interesting. Those who have not filed their taxes in 2019, 2018 will still receive their stimulus checks if they are people on Social Security, veterans with disabilities, and railroad retirees. Basically, I think if you received your stimulus before, then they have your direct deposit information, you do qualify, then you should be able to receive your stimulus. Now, if you did not qualify for the first stimulus based on your 2019 income, but due to hardships you now have a lower income, then you do qualify, you can claim the $600 on your 2020 taxes and receive it as a refund. Okay? Now, let's go over unemployment benefits. Now, we know that, let me tell you the name of this bill. I didn't even say that. So this is a $900 billion COVID-19 relief bill, okay, that Congress just passed. So your unemployment benefits, they are not retroactive, okay? All unemployment will be extended by 11 weeks, and it will be $300 that you will receive per week as a federal subsidy. If you start your benefits after March 14th, you will continue to get them until April 5th. Now, there is also a $100 a week extra subsidy for unemployed workers who have both a job and a business. And your unemployment benefits don't take that into account, so that you would be eligible to receive that $100 a week extra subsidy. Okay, so that's something new that's in the bill. As far as businesses, this bill looks really good for businesses. There was $325 billion allotted to help small businesses. The PPP Payment Protection Program, businesses can now take tax deductions for expenses covered by your forgiven loans. If you, for instance, bought some office equipment with your forgiven loan for $1,000, you can also deduct that $1,000 as a tax deduction. It seems like it's double dipping, and Congress is aware of that, and they're okay with that. Because their goal was to really focus on helping small businesses. The EIDL. Many of you have been waiting to hear about this EIDL. So $20 billion for economic injury disaster loans. Remember that in the CARES Act, the EIDL offered us a $1,000 grant, $1,000 per employee. They are now calling that a cash advance. Now, some people were offered additional loan amounts based on their credit score. So you got the EIDL grant, or you were offered a loan. Some people took advantage of the loan at 3.75%, and some did not. The language in this bill suggests that previously intended people who qualified to receive the $10,000 grant should be able to receive the rest of that grant. Okay, so I've researched into this, looking at the bill itself and looking at the interpretations from some of the other YouTubers, and there seems to be a discrepancy between what people actually believe is true about this. So basically, many of the people who have reviewed the bill believe that SBA will contact you, and I guess that would be via email or whatever contact information they have for you. If you already received that $1,000 grant and are eligible to receive the rest, they will contact you, because Congress, though in the wording, it looks like they are expecting SBA to give you the rest of that money. But there's still some discrepancy there. I'm not 100% sure about that. So I'm talking with some other YouTubers, and I'm talking with some other people to see exactly what that is. I know some people are very adamant that yes, you will receive it, but I'm not quite sure, and I don't want to tell you that if I'm not. Okay, so I'm going to look more into that and get that information out to you as soon as I find out, because I'm actually one of these people that is looking forward to getting the rest of that $10K grant. And let's see. Now, I do encourage all of you who have questions to ask them in the comments. Don't be afraid to take a look at the bill itself. It's over 5,000 pages, but that's okay. You know, there might be some information out there that's really pertinent to you that is not being covered. There are so many layers. There are so many layers to the bill and all the different areas that needed to be addressed for economic need. And rental assistance is one of them. There was $25 billion of assistance to tenants who are in the arrears on their rent. So please read more on that. That's probably going to be a state-by-state decision on how that's worked out. Schools, $82 billion for public and private schools. testing and tracing, 22.4 billion for testing and tracing. Vaccines funding is going to be allocated to the states for vaccine distribution. Airlines, banks, $15 billion for entertainment venues. Farms, $12 billion to crop farmers, cattle ranchers, and rural communities. Railroad and transit gets $1 billion in relief funds for Amtrak. U.S. Postal Service, also tax credits. There's going to be quite a few tax credits for different groups for struggling employers. So that's, again, businesses, and tax breaks for renewable energy. So I just spent, about 10 minutes giving you an overview. I will also include a link to the Wall Street Journal. Has a really good breakdown of the bill itself in layman's terms, easy to read, easy to understand. So I will include that link in the description box. But wait 1 minute. Hold your horses, because I'm saving the best for last, and there will be a part 2 to this video. Did I just spend the last 10 minutes talking about a COVID-19 relief bill that passed in both the House and the Senate? And Trump tweeted, what? He said he wouldn't sign it. Stay tuned for part 2.